Have you heard that sound? No, not the background music, nor the buzzing of your phone, nor the murmur of your surroundings. I'm talking about that silent, constant, invisible sound. Tick, tock, tick, tock. It's the sound of your sentence. The clock doesn't measure your time. It steals it from you. And the worst part is that you're not even noticing it. You're being devoured alive, second by second, by a monster you can't see, that you can't touch, but that watches you as you yawn in front of the screen, as you pretend to be busy, as you postpone for the 5th time that conversation, that trip, that dream. But listen carefully, because there's something even darker. No one's told you this, but you're living as if you were eternal, as if time were a drawer full of days that you can open whenever you please, as if you were immune to death. And you know what's worse? That even if you deny it, you've already felt it. That pang in your chest when you realize the month is already gone. That inexplicable vertigo when you turn off the lights and the silence whispers to you that you're wasting your life. That's your soul screaming. That's time whispering in your ear. I won't come back. I'll tell you something no one wants to face. You're not tired, you're empty. You're not bored, you're anesthetized. It's not that the world is slow, it's that you've stopped moving. Because you let routine swallow your awareness. Because you accepted the illusion that tomorrow you'll have another chance. Because you became addicted to postponement, to the fantasy of later. What if I told you there is no later? What if today is all there is? Think about this. If time were money, you'd be a beggar. You give away your minutes to people who give you nothing, to distractions designed to eat away at your soul, to thoughts that repeat like a scratched record and lead you nowhere. And meanwhile, your future self, the one you think will one day wake up motivated, strong, alert, is suffocating to death. Because every day you choose comfort, you're killing it with your indifference. And you know what the problem is? You don't even know when it all started. You just remember that one day you were a kid with fire in your eyes, and the next you were trapped in a life you didn't choose, repeating gestures, schedules, words, like an amnesiac actor who's forgotten their role. And now you call it life, but it's not. It's a simulation. It's autopilot disguised as stability. I want you to visualize something. Imagine there's a countdown above your head. Not a metaphor, a real countdown. Imagine that with every passing second, that number drops. Now imagine that someone else can see it, but not you. How would you feel if they told you you only had 300,000 seconds left? What would you change? Who would you hug? What would you stop pretending? What life would you stop postponing? The funny thing is, that's already happening. But since you can't see the counter, you act as if it doesn't exist. And that is the most dangerous lie you've been taught. That you have time, that you can still wait, that you can afford to lose days as if they were dry leaves falling to the ground. But they're not. Each day is a cell of your existence. Each passing hour, a part of you dies. And it won't come back. Do you know what real hell is? It's not fire or eternal punishment. Hell is getting to the end of your life and realizing you never lived it. That you existed, sure, but you never woke up. That you breathed, but you never felt. That you occupied space, but never filled it with what you were. And that hell is waiting for everyone who remains asleep. Death doesn't give notice. It doesn't send an email. It doesn't wait for you to finish your pending tasks. Maybe you'll be having coffee tomorrow, or maybe not. Maybe your last conversation with someone has already happened. Maybe that "see you later" already has no later. But you keep believing you have time, that you're going to start on Monday, that your moment will come. Do you know what the problem is? That you're not aware that every postponement is a renunciation. And when you renounce every day, it's not that you're waiting, it's that you're running away. There's something nobody tells you, and I'm going to tell you now. It's not about how much time you have, but about how much awareness you bring to it. It's not about how many years you live, but about how many minutes you are truly present. And there's the trap, because you've been trained to live distracted, to run without direction, to do pointless things just to feel busy. But being busy isn't the same as being alive. And here comes the harshest part. You're not going to magically wake up one day feeling motivated. No one is going to come save you. No one is going to give you the permission you're waiting for. Because while you dream about starting, life is already running. It's already in motion, and it doesn't wait. Time has no compassion. It doesn't care about your fear. It doesn't care about your anxiety. It doesn't care about your excuses. Time just moves forward, and you either move with it or disappear. So now I ask you one last question, and this time I want you not to look away. Are you willing to keep living as if you were eternal, knowing that you're not? Are you willing to keep living as if you were eternal, knowing that you're not? So tell me this. How much of your life do you live on borrowed time? Because yes, there is something even more devastating than wasting your own time, living inside other people's time, following plans that aren't yours, goals you don't understand, rhythms that don't belong to you. Every time you do something just because it's expected, just because it's your turn, you're selling irreplaceable minutes to a system that prefers you obedient, not awake. And that is truly dying while alive. I'll tell you without embellishments. Time that isn't chosen becomes a prison. You could be in the most beautiful place in the world, surrounded by brilliant people, but if you didn't choose to be there, your soul isn't present. And you know what that means? That moment, no matter how valuable it seems, is emotional garbage, because it leaves no trace, no root, no connection. It's just part of a calendar someone else designed for you. And the most macabre part of all is that they've convinced you that this cage is freedom. They've told you that being productive is being alive. That getting up at the same time every day, doing the same thing, smiling even when you feel nothing, is a sign of maturity. Maturity? That's not maturity. It's emotional anesthesia. It's an elegant death, with a tie, with schedules, with goals you never question. They've taught you to plan life as if it were a mathematical operation, as if the soul obeyed algorithms. But life isn't a formula, it's a fire, and you're letting it go out. There are people who die at 40 and keep breathing until 80. You know it because you see them. They walk around with empty eyes, counting days instead of living them, repeating words with no weight, trapped in the nostalgia of what they never did. That is the punishment for not understanding time. Not that it runs out, but that it loses meaning before it ends. Because there's nothing crueler than to keep existing when you've already stopped living inside. And you know what part is even darker? That this starts very early. They program you from when you're little. They tell you when to laugh, when to be quiet, when to sit down, when to run. They teach you to look at the clock, not the sky, to count minutes, not ideas, to memorize facts, not to observe life. And you, little by little, disconnect. You start living waiting for weekends, waiting for vacations, waiting for when everything gets better. But it never gets better because it's not about the world, it's about you. Waiting is the system's most accepted drug. It's not the time yet, they repeat to you, and you believe it, as if life had traffic lights telling you when to live. But time doesn't work that way. There's no warning, no green light, no bell ringing. Time throws you into the void from the moment you're born, and you decide whether to learn to fly or to spend your life wondering where the instructions are. And here comes the part that really hurts. You're not aware of how much you're losing until it's too late. Because time doesn't scream as it leaves. It slips away silently, like a thief who robs you while you sleep. It steals your present while you're making to-do lists. It robs you of your children's childhood while you're answering emails. It takes away genuine laughter while you fake interest in empty conversations. And you don't notice until one day you wake up and the only thing left is an empty feeling. Something's gone, but you don't know when. That's the trap. It doesn't steal your time in big chunks. It doesn't take days. It takes it bit by bit. In the times you say yes when you wanted to say no. In the seconds you spend staring at a screen instead of into the eyes of the person in front of you. In the nights you fall asleep without remembering what you did that day. Time doesn't need to push you into the abyss. It seduces you to walk toward it yourself. And then, when you finally understand it, when awareness hits you with its brutality, you're already halfway through. With commitments you hate, with habits that suffocate you, with people you don't recognize. And of course, you start fighting time as if it were your enemy. You fill it with things, with noise, with obligations, as if you were trying to hide the fact that you don't know what you're doing with your life. But time is not your enemy. The enemy is your unconsciousness. Do you want to know what true freedom feels like? It's when you start deciding how to spend your time with the same seriousness with which you decide who to trust your life to. Because it's the same. Every minute given is a piece of existence that never returns. So if you wouldn't give your heart to just anyone, why do you give them your time? And now listen to this carefully. There is no valuable life without pain. Because the very moment you understand what your time is worth, mourning begins. Mourning for what you lost, for the years asleep, for the hugs you didn't give, for the paths you didn't take out of fear, for the times you betrayed yourself to fit in. And that pain isn't pretty, but it's necessary, because that's the point where transformation begins. You can't love life if you don't first cry for the time you let slip away. And you can't protect your time if you don't understand that there are those who will live off of you if you don't set boundaries. Because here comes the toughest part. There are people who feed on other people's time, who parasitize your energy, who live your life more intensely than you do, and they do it because you allow them to. Because you don't know how to say, enough. Because you don't know how to disappear when it's necessary. Because you still don't understand that your time is the only thing that truly belongs to you. Now I want you to do this. Close your eyes, yes, now, and remember the last day you were completely present, not half attentive, not pretending, not rushed, completely there. Do you remember it? Or has it been so long you don't even know what it feels like? If you can't remember that day, you're losing everything. And you don't know it. And maybe now you're starting to feel it. That discomfort, that pang in your chest, that inner murmur telling you, something's not right. It's not anxiety. It's not stress. It's much deeper. It's a buried truth. It's the reflection of something you've avoided looking at your whole life. Your fear of dying. Because yes, we're going to talk about that. And I don't care if it makes you uncomfortable. It should make you uncomfortable. Do you know why? Because you fear death so much that you preferred not to live so you wouldn't have to lose anything, because truly living involves a risk that everything ends, that what you love disappears, that what you build falls apart. And to avoid that pain, you made yourself small, silent, irrelevant. But it doesn't work. No matter how much you hide, death comes anyway. It doesn't care about your excuses, your plans, your postponements. It takes you anyway. One day you're here, and the next you're just a fading memory, and there's no going back. There's no reset. There's no save game button. Do you get it now? The fear of dying is not weakness. It's the greatest wake-up call you have. It's the deepest cry of the soul, begging you to live before it's too late. But you silence it. You act tough. You laugh at death as if it's not about you, as if you were immune. But inside, you tremble. You tremble because you know that everything you're putting off might never happen. You tremble because you pretend to control your time, but in reality, you're just watching it slip through your fingers. You tremble because every day you live without intensity is a direct betrayal of your existence. And you know it. The real problem isn't that you're going to die. It's that you can die without ever having lived, without having loved the way you wanted, without having said what burned in your throat, without having broken the mask you've worn for years. And that's the real hell, not the end, the omission. Look around. Watch people. Most aren't afraid of dying because they're already dead inside. And when you have nothing to lose, when you haven't built anything with soul, of course you're not afraid to lose it. But when you connect with your life, with what matters, with what ignites you, then yes, then the fear appears. Then you feel vertigo, because you know every minute counts. And that fear is good, because it's real, because it brings back urgency. And here's the cruelest paradox. Only those who understand death value life. Only those who look their end in the face begin to choose with surgical precision who they give their time to, who they open their soul to, what projects they devote their energy to, because they know every decision is a sacrifice. That saying yes to something is saying no to thousands of other things. What are you saying yes to? What version of yourself are you feeding with your time? Because the time you invest in things you don't love is time you're using to bury the person you could be. Yes, that clear. Every dead minute isn't just an absence of life. It's a different life that will never be. It's a universe that goes dark before it's born. It's an opportunity that chooses not to knock again. And I get it. It's not always easy to choose. We live surrounded by distractions designed so you don't think, so you don't feel, so you don't question. Because when you wake up, when you understand time can't be recovered, you become dangerous. You become selective. You become uncontrollable. And the system doesn't like that. The system likes busy people, not conscious people. That's why they want you trapped in soulless routines, in jobs you hate, in relationships that don't nourish you. Because a person who values their time doesn't stay where they don't grow. Doesn't stay out of fear, doesn't stay out of habit. They move, they leave, and that makes others uncomfortable. Do you know what's more revolutionary than shouting or protesting? Living with awareness. Choosing, deciding every day who you give your hours, your attention, your energy to. That is real power, and you're giving it away. Think of it this way. What would happen if you woke up tomorrow and discovered that nothing you have excites you anymore? That your house doesn't inspire you? That your partner doesn't connect with you? That your routine is a farce? What would you do? Would you keep pretending? Or would you dare to break it all? Because that's the price of awareness. You can't blind yourself again. Once you see, you can't unsee. Once you feel the value of time, you can never go back to wasting it without guilt. And that's freedom. But it's also a burden. Because the internal judgment begins. The demand begins. The fight against everything you used to tolerate without blinking begins. Because now you know. Now you feel it. Now you see it. Every hour is worth gold. And you spent years giving it away for fear of being alone. Do you know what real loneliness is? being surrounded by people, and not being able to share your time with anyone who values it. And here's something you didn't expect. There is no greater pain than seeing how others play with your time, once you know how much it's worth. And yet, you keep giving it away. You keep replying to empty messages. You keep accepting commitments that exhaust you. You keep smiling when you want to run away. Until when? How long are you going to keep acting as if you were infinite? Because when you truly wake up, you won't want to go back. You won't be able to stand the noise. You won't tolerate the superficial. You'll become fierce, silent, lethal with your decisions. And that's what you'll be criticized for. Because the sleeping always hate the one who wakes up first. And here is the final blow. What are you going to do with what's left? I'm not asking you what you'll do tomorrow or in a year. I'm asking you what you're going to do with the next 24 hours, with the next minutes that are disintegrating as you listen to my voice. Are you going to keep postponing your life until it's too late? Or will you dare to break that mask and do something that really makes sense? Listen, because this isn't empty motivation. This is a warning. Time doesn't wait, but it does listen to you. If you don't decide, it decides for you. And it does so by taking away your options. It does so by closing paths. It does so by erasing people from your life without warning. It's brutal, yes, but it's also an opportunity. Every second that goes by is a reminder that you're alive. Every second is a choice, an open door. And the problem is that almost no one realizes it until it's too late. People live as if time were infinite, as if the years were an endless collection. But when you understand it isn't, something changes. The way you love changes. The way you speak changes. The way you see the world changes. You become selective. You become authentic. You become untamable. Because you realize you don't have to stay where you're not nourished. You don't have to waste your life waiting for validation that will never come. Do you know what true freedom is? Saying no without feeling guilty. Looking at the clock and not feeling chased by it, but accompanying it. Deciding with whom you want to share your hours, not because you should, but because you choose to. And that power is in your hands right now. But there's something else you need to know. When you truly start living, days don't go by more slowly, you don't get more time, but they feel eternal. Because eternity isn't in the years, but in the intensity with which you live them. One present minute is worth more than 10 years asleep. And most people are sleeping. You decide if you stay there. And now that we've made it this far, before we continue, I want to present the following to you. Our book, The Formula of Awakening, is now available. Do you feel like there's something inside you that wants to awaken, but you don't know where to start? Then I invite you to transform your way of thinking, and with it, your way of living. Discover who you can become. Start today. The link to get the ebook is in the first pinned comment of this video. Grab your copy now at a great price. With that said, let's continue with the video. Let me tell you one more thing, and engrave it in your mind. People talk a lot about success, about goals, about achievements. But the only thing you should ask yourself is, if today were my last day, would I feel at peace with what I did? If the answer is no, then you have work to do. You have a life to recover. You have time to start honoring. I want you to close this video with an action, not with an idea. Do something that tells your time you value it. Turn off the screen, call someone you love, do something you've been putting off for too long. Because, believe me, time is watching you. And if you treat it with respect, it will give you back something priceless. Meaning. Now I want to invite you to leave me a phrase in the comments, just one, that sums up what this video has stirred inside you. Don't leave me a "thank you" or a "how beautiful." I want to read a sentence that makes me feel that this truly struck you. And if you want to keep diving deeper into this raw and honest way of seeing life, subscribe to the channel right now, because what's coming isn't for the faint of heart. And as a farewell, I'm not going to say goodbye. That's too simple. I'm going to say this. Every second that goes by while you decide whether to watch another video or not, you're choosing what kind of life you're going to have. Will it be a life of waiting or a life of fire? The choice is yours. But remember, time is already running. See you in the only place where life happens, the now.